Hi, I am here with yoga teacher extraordinaire Christine Burke, also known as the Yoga Healer. And how fortunate are we to have Christine today, because she's going to show us a little mini yoga practice to deal with anxiety. Okay, so I don't know about you at home, anyone who's watching, but if you suffer from anxiety, even extreme anxiety, you're not alone. It's becoming so the norm now. And I think, you know, I never want anyone to feel like ashamed or weird because you have anxiety. I think it's just modern day life that's pushing us in this direction. And I just have to say that the wonderful thing is that yoga is such a great solution for dealing with anxiety. So Christine Burke is my go-to yoga gal teacher. She's also she's a soul sister. She's somebody who's so special to me and in my life. Christine comes and teaches yoga at our retreats, our Hello Gorgeous retreats and events. She's the resident yoga teacher, and she's author of a wonderful, wonderful book called The Yoga Healer. And I'm going to pop a link to the book underneath this video, and I highly recommend it really, it's prescriptive, isn't it? So if you need help with focus, depression, anxiety, whatever it is, there will be a beautifully illustrated, instructional sequence of poses or pose for that. So you are magical.
Thank you, Sophie.
And a true healer. So how do we deal with anxiety?
All right, well, what you were saying in the beginning about it being more and more prevalent and just more a part of the fabric of our society is very true. And one thing I'd like to say on that note is that we were not really designed for the level of intensity that we're living in. We were not designed to have to handle what we're handling now. So our nervous systems were created in a way that if we were in danger, we would know in that moment, and the body would rise to the occasion. The blood flow would leave the brain. It would move into the limbs so that you could run. Your body would empty itself out, and I mean empty itself out so that you could be lighter to move. But you were not as intelligent. You were not as sharp because you didn't need to be. You just needed to run. And now what's happening is that because there's so much anxiety and there's so much stress going on regularly, our body's almost always in this low-grade fight or flight, you've heard of it, syndrome, where we feel that we're under siege. So the first thing that I like to do, or that I'd like to start with today, it's a mudra, a hand position, with a breath that helps to neutralize this feeling that your ego is in peril. So it neutralizes the ego, interestingly enough, by tapping into the sciatic nerve. So it's also very good. If you have sciatica, this is a really great mudra for that.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So we're going to take our hands like this. The left one's going to be right in front of your belly, and then the right one just comes on top, and then you touch your thumbs together. So this is the mudra position. And then just relax your shoulders so your elbows will fall naturally somewhere underneath your shoulders. And close your eyes. Take a few moments to recognize that you are, at this moment, quite safe. That even if your mind or your body is perceiving danger, in this exact moment, in this present moment, you're fine. You're here sitting on a mat or on your floor, on your carpet, maybe even in a chair. And you're just noticing that you're here and you're feeling your breath. You're letting yourself really truly come into now. Okay, so a lot of the future thinking leads toward anxiety, so we want to pull it back into the now. Maybe notice the temperature of your body, how the air feels, the sounds around you. It's all part of now. And now on your next inhale, we're going to make that a long inhale through the nose. And when you're full of breath there, we'll hold, and in your mind you'll count to either 8 or 10 or 12. And if this feels like a pretty big hold for you, 8 or 10 or 12, you can pull that back to 6. We want to work toward 8 or 10 or 12. Counts in your mind. When you finish that, through your nose, you'll exhale. Just completely let it go. Now when you get to the bottom and you're empty, you're going to hold again. You're going to hold 8 or 6. You don't have to hold the full amount. So you're empty and you're holding. When you finish that count, you've gotten to the 8, or if you're able to, more, then you'll inhale again. And when you're full up, you're going to hold and do that count again. And while Sophie's doing that, I want to just explain a little something about what's happening. You might feel a little nervous or even anxious on the holds. And that's purposeful, because as we tap into that feeling, that anxious feeling, we actually start to kind of neutralize it by using the body in that moment with that feeling, and then recognizing as the breath is released or the breath is brought in that we're okay. So it does this really interesting, beautiful thing in the physiology. So you could do that for 5 rounds, you could do that for 10 rounds, you could do it as long as you like. And feel free to coordinate that with what you're capable of. You know, if it's too much for you to hold even 8, like I said, do 6. Okay, so Sophie, you can release that.
Feel really relaxed now.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's very relaxing, but it doesn't put you to sleep. You know, you're still awake, so it's something you can do any time of the day, at work or anything.
Yeah, and great for teenagers before a test or an exam. Highly, highly recommend.
Exactly.
Or doctor's appointments or anything that you're nervous about.
Yeah, and this you can kind of hide this anyway.
You can.
You just look, you know, very, very zen.
Yes.
All right, so then what we want to do is we're going to get ourselves moving a little bit. The anxious mind likes to have something to pay attention to. It's pretty difficult to just sit down and meditate. The breath and this really helps, so that's why it's fine to start with that. I find it works pretty well. But then we want to get the body moving a little bit so the mind gets more into the moment. More into the moment and less into the future. So we're going to stand up. And Sophie, would you just come to the top of your mat there? Okay. Yeah, I can face this way. We're going to do a few half sun salutes, just a nice, easy little warm-up sun salutation. Nothing that you should be concerned about if you have any particular injuries, though of course you're going to want to pay attention to your low back and hamstrings. Okay, so we'll bring our hands together, prayer pose at the heart. Inhale, we're going to go up. And as we exhale, dive down. Now when you're diving, if you tend to be a little tighter in the back or hamstrings, you can bend your knees a little bit. Let your hands come to your shins, and then like you're looking out over the edge of a diving board. Breathe in, stretch your spine, and then exhale, bow. And of course, again, if you need to bend your knees, please do. Push into the floor, inhale, come all the way up with your arms out to the side. And then we'll bring the hands right down to the center. This is very grounding as we exhale. Okay, you could also use your hands on your hips. If you felt any tension, okay, in your low back when you were coming up or down, we could shift to hands on the hips. And I'll do that way, and Sophie can do the other way on this one. Okay, inhale, exhale. Inhale, stretch your spine out. Exhale, fold. So hands can be to the hips or out to the side. Press into the feet. You root to rise up as you breathe in. Good. And then exhale, we can return the hands to the heart center. Let's do one more. Inhale. We'll do our arms out this time. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, looking out over the edge of the diving board into the beautiful crystal blue water. Exhale, fold. And then again, push down like a plant growing deep roots in order to lift up and pull it to the heart center. Exhale. You can do as many of those as you'd like. Okay, 3, 5, 10. So we're going to move on to the second pose, which is tree pose. Okay, so in tree pose, one of the reasons that this works so beautifully is that it's very difficult for the mind to focus on things that are not in the moment while trying to hold your balance. So we're going to start on the right foot. Have a little distance between your feet and bring your hands to your hips. And then we'll start on the right by shifting the weight over, bending the left knee, and reaching down.
Oh, I've gone the wrong one, but...
Oh, either way, this will look pretty. So you've got your foot inside of your thigh, either direction, and then we'll bring the hands here. Now, of course, Sophie's got a beautiful tree pose, and maybe you're feeling like yours isn't quite as, glorious, or at least steady. So you can use something, a wall, right? There's no problem with that. You scooch on over to something, use it, play with it until you feel comfortable. We're going to set the gaze out in the distance. This is called a drishti. And just breathe deep and slow. Let the roots grow into the floor. Let your heart lift. Take another breath. And then bringing the knee forward. And exhale when you're ready and come down. And then the most important thing that I'm going to say is in between sides, you're just going to accept everything as it was. No judgments, no opinions, good tree, bad tree, none of that. right? Just moving on in the moment. So now we're going to shift over to the other foot, whatever that is for you. Reaching down, you shift the weight over.
Christine, if somebody, sorry to interrupt, somebody can't get their foot up to the thigh, could you do lower down?
Thank you.
Shall I do that metaphor?
Yes, absolutely. Anywhere. You can even do a kickstand.
Yeah.
Right? You can do a little ball of the foot kickstand. So perfect. That's great. There is one place I would avoid, and that would be putting your foot directly on your knee and then pressing along. Right? So other than that, a little below, a little above, you can kickstand like this. And that setting of your gaze, what we call the drishti, really nice for the mind. It soothes the mind. So relax your eyes, let them just float out into one point on the horizon. Take another breath, and then bring your knee forward if you're still with us, and then exhale. If you lost it, no problem. And we'll stand in mountain just for a moment. Good. Okay. So, come to the top of your mat again. We're going to take 1/2 sun salute and step into the next pose, which is downward dog, but we're going to do downward dog a little bit differently. Okay? So if at home you have some blocks, it would be great to have them. If you don't, just for future, you can think about this. You can have a stack of books, even a big bolster or a pillow. Okay? We're going to press our head onto it once we get there. So we'll go ahead like this and inhale. We'll lift up, feel nice and long and tall, and then exhale a dive. Remember to bend your knees if that helps your hamstrings or your back. Inhale, do that lengthening forward again. Exhale and bow. And then bending the knees, put your hands down, and step right on back to a downward dog. Now, if anybody's not able to do that or comfortable with that, you can come onto your hands and knees first, okay? And then lift up and into a down dog. Yeah, just like that. Okay, so now Sophie's in her down dog, and this is where it gets a little bit different. We're going to bring a block, maybe another block. And then she's going to stretch her dog out a little bit until she can get just the forehead, top of the forehead. Yep, right about there. Does that feel fairly comfortable?
That feels really good.
Yeah. So this might be, oh sure, yeah. I know, all of her glory, beautiful hair.
I should have worn a hair tie.
Under there are some blocks.
Yeah.
But what you might notice here is that her down dog is a little elongated now, and that's fine. You may have to do that in order to get your head down. So where Sophie's forehead is placed on the blocks, and you have to just kind of futz with this a little bit to get comfortable, but she's done a nice job because she's got a long neck here. So if your head is up or overly pulled in, it's not going to feel quite right, and you have to figure that out a little bit. Her down dog is a little bit longer than it usually would be, most likely to reach the blocks. That's what I find. And now she's got a nice long spine. And we've got the forehead there, which helps to soothe the amygdala, just to get fancy in your brain, okay? It soothes the limbic system and the frontal lobe, and it destimulates the thinking process and fear and worry. Okay, so you can hold that 3 to 5 breaths, and when you're ready to come down, you can go ahead and come down, Sophie. We make a nice transition into child's pose. I'll take one of those away, so if you were stacked up, you'd take one away. And then she's gonna go right onto the forehead. If you're using a bolster or you're using pillows or something, then this feels really nice as well. We want to have the forehead supported on something, and this area is open. She's got her arms forward, that's great. Some people might like them back, but with this it might feel a little weird. And another way you can do it is put the hands right on either side, and you just up. Yeah, and you're just sort of holding and relaxing. And after a few breaths like that, you may want to remove the block and come to child's pose without. And then you can imagine that you have your yoga teacher there doing this.
Oh.
Or maybe you have a friend or a pet who could do this. And you remember that you are not alone, that you're a human being, and that means that you have a mind that's capable of things often that are beyond our control. And you just be patient, be compassionate with yourself. And breathe. Okay.
Oh, that feels so nice. Wow, what a lovely, lovely, lovely little practice.
Yeah, and that can be done in 10 minutes, so.
Thank you so much for that. I feel I mean, even though we're doing a YouTube video and we've got a leaf blower outside, which I'm sorry about, because this is a beautiful garden studio here, but it does lead out to the outside. So unfortunately in LA we've got leaf blowers.
Sometimes it's the urban jungle.
It is. But honestly, that was just absolutely, it was lovely. I'm going to do that little practice every single day, and I'm going to teach it to my 16-year-old daughter, because I think it's just lovely for any, you know, she's doing
wonderful for teens,
exams, and Christine teaches teens. So as well as teaching teens, Christine teaches every single day at Liberation Yoga here in Los Angeles. If you ever visit Los Angeles, if you live in Los Angeles, please take some time out to come to Liberation Yoga, because it is a very special yoga studio. It's got character, it's got love, it's got soul, and it's not like a kind of Starbucks of yoga, you know, of yoga. It's not a yoga chain, I should say. And do grab a copy of the Yoga Healer book, because I've learned so much from your book. I have it on my nightstand permanently just to flick through. It's a beautiful book, and everyone will benefit, and you can buy one for yourself or your daughter or your friend. It's a lovely gift as well. I think anybody would be very happy to receive that. Leave us comments, leave us questions. Christine and I will go in and answer, and look out for some of our other videos, because we have a whole little series that we're doing, and I think you'll enjoy some of the other videos. So we'll see you next time. Bye. Hi, thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, there are hundreds more. And please also visit my blog at sophieuliano.com for detailed reviews, recipes, DIYs, and more.